The battlefield reeked of ozone and blood. Kaelin of the Veari tribe stood in the ruins of her shattered city, gripping the splintered half of her once proud war spear. Her people had resisted for months against the invading Graal horde, scaled monstrosities that fought in endless waves, their armored hides glistening with oil and blood. Now, Kaelin was the last of her warband. The streets of Ereval burned around her, collapsing towers casting long shadows in the crimson twilight. Her spear, her mother's before her, had finally snapped when she drove it through the armored crest of a Graal commander. The weapon had sung its last note. Surrounded, Kaelin spat on the ground, chest heaving. A dozen Graal closed in, their sickle blades clattering against shields. Their guttural laughter echoed through the ruins. So this is how it ends, she thought bitterly. Alone, dishonored, forgotten. She raised the broken haft anyway. Veari warriors died standing. And then the sky tore open. A burning streak ripped down from the clouds, a comet trailing fire. The ground shook as something crashed into the ruins behind the Graal circle, stone and dust erupting outward. The monsters paused, hissing in confusion. From the crater rose a figure, two-legged, armored in scorched plating, carrying a weapon Kaelin had never seen before. Its faceplate cracked open, revealing pale flesh, short dark hair, and eyes that blazed with something stronger than fire. The creature smirked. "Mind if I join the fight?" Kaelin blinked, stunned. "What are you?" The newcomer raised his strange weapon, metal barrel gleaming, cables humming. "Human," he said simply. And then he opened fire. Middle. The weapon thundered like a storm contained in his hands. Bolts of blue-white plasma streaked outward, slamming into the Graal. 3 fell before they understood they were under attack. The rest turned with snarls, charging the strange warrior. Kaelin, momentarily frozen, felt her instincts snap back. She lunged forward, broken spear haft striking a Graal's throat, crushing its windpipe. Side by side, she and the strange human carved through the circle. When the last Graal shrieked and fell smoking to the ground, silence returned to the ruins. Dust swirled around them. Kaelin leaned on her haft, chest heaving. The human lowered his weapon, steam rising from its barrel. His armor was battered, scorched, patched with welding lines. A soldier's armor. "You fight well," Kaelin managed, voice hoarse. He gave a crooked grin. "You too. Especially with half a stick." She bristled, then realized he was teasing. "Strange. I am Kaelin, last of the Veari shield maidens." She lifted her chin, pride sharp despite the ruins. "My people are slaughtered. My spear is broken. Yet I will not yield." The human nodded solemnly. "David Rourke, Captain, Terran Rangers. Or what's left of them." "Terran?" she asked, tasting the alien word. "Earth," he clarified. "Long story. Short version, I was shot down while scouting. Looks like I landed in the right place at the right time." Kaelin stared at him, a flicker of hope igniting where only despair had lived. But the ground trembled again. From the shadows emerged more Graal. Dozens, then scores, their massive forms blotting out the firelight. The horde had regrouped. David checked his weapon, then cursed. "Batteries running low." Kaelin tightened her grip on the haft. "Then we die together." He glanced at her, eyes glinting with something fierce. "Or we make them regret ever stepping foot here." The bond of battle. The next hours blurred into fire and steel. Kaelin fought with every ounce of training, leaping, spinning, striking with precision even as her arms trembled. David fought differently. Brutal efficiency, conserving motion, firing bursts when possible, then switching to a serrated blade he carried at his hip. Their styles clashed yet complemented each other. She was the dancer weaving through enemies. He was the hammer smashing them aside. Together they carved a path through impossible odds. At one point, Kaelin's haft lodged in a growl's armored chest. The beast raised a claw to rip her apart, until David tackled it, driving his blade into its eye, pinning it down with sheer strength. "Next time," he grunted, yanking the blade free. "Aim lower." Kaelin almost laughed. In the midst of death she laughed. But for every growl they cut down, more emerged. Kaelin's arms burned, her legs faltered. She stumbled, almost falling. David grabbed her under the arm, hauling her upright. "Stay with me." Her pride screamed, but she nodded. Finally they reached the inner square, where the massive Growl warlord awaited. Twice the size of the others, plated in bone armor, wielding a cleaver the size of a door. Kaelin's breath caught. This was the one who had led the slaughter of her people. She remembered his laughter as her kin fell. Rage steadied her grip. The warlord roared, charging. Climax. The duel was chaos. David's plasma rifle sputtered and died, drained at last. He tossed it aside with a curse, drawing his blade. Kaelin darted in, striking at gaps in the warlord's armor, while David absorbed the creature's thunderous blows. Steel met bone, sparks flying. The warlord's cleaver shattered stone pillars, sent shockwaves through the ground. Finally, the beast slammed David back against a wall, blade raised for the killing blow. Kaelin, weaponless, her haft finally splintered to nothing, saw only one chance. With a cry that tore from her soul, she leapt onto the warlord's back, driving the jagged shard of her broken spear into the exposed flesh of its neck. The warlord howled, staggering. David surged forward, plunging his blade up under its chest plate, driving it deep into the heart. The warlord convulsed, then collapsed, the ground trembling beneath its fall. For a long moment silence reigned. Then Kaelin and David looked at each other, bloodied, exhausted, but alive. Ending. The surviving Growl fled, their morale shattered. The warlord's death had broken them. Kaelin stood amidst the ruins, trembling, staring at the corpse of her people's destroyer. For the first time in months, her chest eased. David retrieved his blade, wiping it clean. He gave her a tired smile. Not bad for a first team-up. She studied him. This strange human who had fallen from the sky, who had fought beside her as if they had trained together their whole lives. He was battered, scarred, but unyielding. "What will you do now?" she asked softly. "Find my squad, if they're still alive. And if not..." He looked over the burning horizon. "Make sure these bastards pay." Kaelin was silent for a long time. Then she knelt, gathering the last fragment of her broken spear. She pressed it into his hand. "This was my mother's. And mine. Now yours. You carry the fire of 1,000 warriors, human. You turned despair into hope." David stared at the shard, then back at her. "Kaelin, I can't take this." "You can," she said firmly. "Because today we were not alone. And tomorrow we fight again." He held her gaze, then nodded slowly. Together, side by side, they walked into the ruins. Two survivors from different worlds, bound by battle, ready to carve a legend the galaxy would never forget.